Let's show off some Malleys, guys. We love Malleys. Valentine's Day is this weekend, and all you need is love and chocolate this Valentine's Day. Be ready to say the 3 little words that everyone wants to hear. I got the Malleys. From friendship to love to every situationship in between. Malleys has the perfect chocolate to say what you feel. Their famous chocolate-covered strawberries and grapes are back in stores. You can see them in Bull's hands. Those are the strawberries. G. Bush has the chocolate-covered grapes. And the rest of their Valentine's Day favorites, like the Gold Cup assortments, foil-wrapped solid milk and dark chocolate hearts, peanut butter, caramel, raspberry, and marshmallow-filled hearts, and so much more. They're all in stores and online now. This Valentine's Day, say it with Malleys. And Jason, you look, I've never seen you look happy.
Jason's had about 5 chocolate covered.
He's never looked happier.
I had 2.
The equivalent of 5.
If you didn't shut up, I might have made it to 3.
Gee, how are the chocolate covered grapes?
These are lit, bro. You messing my whole diet plan now.
Yeah.
Oh, these right here.
There you go. Thank you.
You know, I'll be borderline type 2. I've been having my sugar number been raised all the way up. These is
all the way up.
All the way up. These is crazy. I ate a whole box.
Malleys is the best. Thank you, Malleys.
Oh my gosh,
Malleys. Get your chocolate covered grapes and strawberries at Malleys.com. All right, guys, let's dive into our first topic. That's a big picture question.
Yeah.
Todd Monken is the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns. We understand the Browns have limitations from a roster standpoint. We really don't know what to expect from an offensive and defensive standpoint as they're still looking to hire a defensive coordinator. So, Bull.
Yes.
In your opinion, what would constitute as success for Todd Monken in year 1 as the head coach of the Browns?
It's a good question. It's a tough question to answer. I don't know if I can put a specific win total. I'll say, to me, at the end of the year, if I feel like the offense is clearly improved and heading in the right direction, I'm not going to call for a guy to be fired after 1 year. Like, what's that?
Careful.
I did with Freddie. But he's
you
the
never
only
know.
One. He was. But the thing is, you're right.
Easy to say
things
that in
could
February.
change. Things could change. It's a lot to ask. Now, obviously, we've got free agency in the draft, and we'll reassess then. But the Browns are so bad offensively, it would be impossible to complete, or nearly impossible to completely turn it around in one season. There's just too many holes. You have, at best, if I include DeJuan Jones and stretch it, you have 4 legitimate starters in the NFL and none that are elite. Maybe Harold Fannon's an elite tight end or will become. We'll see. So there's so many holes on offense. So to me, can the offense be serviceable? If they won 5 games this year in 26 and the offense was improved, would I look at as a success? No, I don't know. No. I guess not in the end.
Yeah, you didn't feel it in your soul.
Yeah, as I was talking it, you know.
You didn't feel it in your soul.
I guess I don't have a great answer, guys. What can I say? I can't. It's not realistic to say make the playoffs.
I think this topic and one other one that we're doing, I think I would like to revisit in August.
Yeah.
Because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's February.
Yeah.
You don't even know. You don't know for sure who the quarterback is. You don't know who's on the line. You don't know who the receivers are.
Nothing.
And you don't know who the defensive coordinator is.
If they were starting the season right now, could you pick them to win more than 5 games?
No. I don't think so.
No.
I mean, we haven't seen the schedule yet, but we know who the opponents are.
Right. I just couldn't.
Success to me. You kind of hit on where I was going to try and go with it.
Yeah.
Like, can you take a step offensively without, and this is important, without the defense regressing?
Right.
So.
And Jim Shorts are not. Like, defenses are more fickle than offenses.
Yes. So without regression, much regression.
Right,
there probably will be a little bit. But can you if it's like this now and the defense is up here, can you like narrow the gap a little bit to where you're playing a little bit more complementary football? I mean, it's such a low bar.
Yeah.
But on February 13th, it's just hard for me to say, like, I would love to be able to say, find your quarterback. I don't know if we can say that.
Yeah.
If you come out of this season and you know who your quarterback is,
that's a win.
That's a win.
Yeah.
No matter, regardless of whatever else, that's a win.
That's a win.
So that's one way you could look at it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I don't know if that's realistic or not. It's hard. It's February. Like August, and I'm not knocking Mikey for the topic. You got to talk about something. But I think in August, this one and the one about who's going to thrive and who's going to.
Yeah, it's so hard
those
to say.
Feel like we could probably have a little bit better of an answer in August.
Yeah, really.
The beauty is we do this now. And then
What's that?
I honestly don't have a good answer. I don't feel good about any answer because if I say 6 wins and an improved offense, it doesn't feel like success. But if I say 9 wins, that feels not possible.
Unrealistic.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
You know, one of the things that I always talk about is sometimes people say, "Hey, how do you explain love?" I don't know. You just know when you get it. You just you know.
Okay.
when you
Yeah.
fall
Like
in
you're
love,
right.
Like
Yeah.
how do I know what a franchise quarterback is? We just know when you see it.
How do you know pornography?
You know
That's right.
when you see
That's
it,
what
right?
the Supreme Court said.
And I agree with him. Bro. It can get a little racy, but here's the thing that I want to say. Like I look at it, and he has to come in, and I want him to have lofty goals and expectations. For him, he's supposed to come in as a new head coach, and the first thing he says is, "Guys, you know what our goal is? Win the Super Bowl." Second thing, win the division. It's been since 1989. Our goal is to win the division. Let's put it. I believe in marking it down, taking a picture, and standing on what you mean. Sometimes you gotta mark the goal down and be clear, and then shoot for it. Now you may come up short against that, but for me, the goal is to go to the Super Bowl. The goal is to win the division. The goal is to go to the playoffs. You may come up short against that, and that's okay. But the thing that you're doing is trying to establish a basement level and understand that the Cleveland Browns are here to win football games. They're not there to be the little brothers of the rest of the teams, and it's not to live off what happened before. It's a new mentality, and we starting fresh. I think also when it comes to that's just the cultural standpoint that I want him to do. The second point is I do want to get some wins. I want to see at least 7. The owner told me 5 wasn't good enough with the last coach, right? He said 5 wasn't good enough. He said there were some games they lost that they should have won. They felt like they should have got some more wins. Well, if you felt like that, and the general manager is gonna invest capital, draft capital, and you're gonna be aggressive in free agency, then what I want to see him do is come in and develop some of these young guys and get them a step further and say, guys, our goal is to get if we're gonna get to 5, let me get to 7. That's what I want to see.
I think, but if the Browns win 7 games, am I going to look at that as a successful season? I'm not. I think a successful season, I think there is no realistic successful season for the Browns in my mind. I think successful is 9 wins. I would look at that as a success. But there are successful things that can come out of this season, even if the season as a whole is not successful. If they finish 6-11, but we know who the quarterback is, there was a level of success within a season that didn't end well.
But there's individual things. If you come out of the season, and that's the big one, finding the quarterback, and if you come out and say, we got the quarterback and we know what it is moving forward, that's a huge success because that's what he is tasked to do. We've been talking about it for years. The Cleveland Browns, since Baker Mayfield, have not had a quarterback where you could say at the beginning of the season, we know who our guy is. Right. If they get that, that's a huge move. Also, I'm looking at culture, and I'm also looking at leadership. You mentioned the defense. I'm definitely looking at the defense because it was known that Jim Schwartz was the leader of the defense. The glaring issue is he's no longer there. You know you got Myles Garrett and some opinionated people over there. Can you control the room? If you're not going to make no moves and have the defense be different, they're going to keep the same defense, a lot of the same staff is going to be there, well, then you're the leader of that, right? By default, you chose the new coach, you chose the new defensive coordinator, you chose to stay with that game plan. How do you keep those guys in line, and do you have the same level of cohesion and want to out of the defense? That's another big part.
You're talking about you can't have success. I'll go back to the Patriots last year. They won 4 games,
right?
But they felt really good about where they were at,
right?
Because
it wasn't a successful season, but they accomplished finding a quarterback.
On the record, it wasn't a successful season, but they felt really good about where they stood as a franchise because they believed in Drake May. They felt really good about a lot of the pieces they had, and they didn't even like their head coach. They changed their head coach, and they went to the Super Bowl. Now, I am not predicting the Browns are going to the Super Bowl next year. But it shows you that record doesn't always imply success, depending on how you feel about the personnel that you have. So it is possible, in my mind, to have a poor record and still feel really good because they're not going to solve. I said last year they're not going to fix all their holes in one offseason. They're still not going to fix their holes in this offseason.
No, I mean they're rebuilding.
Yeah, but if you get to the end of the season, if a year from now we're sitting here and you feel good about one or two of their skill position players, you feel good about their quarterback, you feel good about one or two of their linemen, and the defense is still about where it was, that is a huge success. I don't care what the record says.
Also, I take a look at this. We say we can't fill all the holes, and that's correct. Filling holes doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to acquire other talent, other places, and just plugging them in. Filling other holes also has to do with getting something out. We'll talk about later on the show. Yeah. What can you get out of some people who may not have performed well last year, may not be seen as a top prospect, but you can get them to play above what you've seen on tape before. So those are the things in terms of development is where you can really go ahead. I look at it with the Guardians all the time. Y'all guys mentioned it all. You look at the guys that were in that organization. Jose Ramirez was not a top flight prospect. He was not one of the guys that was mentioned. But you find now, mind
so
you,
who you hoping for?
Mind you, I'm not gonna say nobody on the Browns is turning into Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, right.
I'm just giving and you don't need a home run. You just need guys to play. If you could tell me, think about it like this: if they can get Zach Zenner to turn into a serviceable lineman, how much would that help him?
That would be good.
That would, because you're looking at it right now. You need 6'7" linemen, right? How good would it be to say, "Hey, let me 6'7"? Yeah. Hey, if you get Zach Zenner to just perform and say, "Hey, Zach Zenner can rotate. We don't got to go over and turn the whole doggone roster over because he got better."
I mean, but do you have faith that that's going to happen?
I mean, it's yet to be seen. I mean, that's again, that is up to the new coaching staff, and that's what the goal should be. Is you could get better in the margins, sneaky on people by getting incrementally better in places that people don't expect you to. It's hard to make a splash everywhere and just say, "Oh, we got another guy and he's great." It's tough to do that.
30 seconds on Zenner. When he first went in for Wyatt, it was the worst possible time for him to go in. They were playing. I don't remember now. They had a stretch of games against the NFC East, and they were just playing nasty defensive tackles week after week after week. I remember. They had the Commanders.
It was didn't they have the Giants?
I feel like they had the Giants in there.
Philly.
Yeah.
And there was just a couple, it was like for an inexperienced guy, rookie, making his first, it was the worst matchups for him. And I don't know if that buried him or if he just really wasn't, he never got back up to the surface. So, and I hoped last year with revamping the offensive line staff would have helped him. It didn't. But we'll see. I mean, with Warhop, they've revamped it again. Mm-hmm. They feel really good about Warhop. He's another one. This
is 4 straight years with a new O-line coach, right?
3, because it went Callahan, and then Vrabel. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, technically 5, because it went Callahan, then what's his name for 2 seconds, then Vrabel took over for him.
Well, yeah, but that's Callahan, and then Andy
Dickerson.
Yeah,
and then Vrabel. And then whoever
No. Vrabel replaced. Well, I see
in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
I see what you said.
And then whoever. Well, last year was
I forgot his name.
Whatever his name. So Vrabel wasn't technically the offensive line coach.
If there's any position that would take the longest amount of time for you to get a guy and the light bulb could go off, is either at tight end or on the offensive line, because you could get beat on the offensive line by just not knowing your assignments and who you need to block. You could get beat on the offensive line because you are just not physically strong enough at this point. You're playing grown men. Or you can get beat on the offensive line because you just don't have sound enough technique. So a lot of those things develop over time, and you can see more serviceable offensive line come to fruition after they take time to kind of learn and mature. But it's getting early for him, because this is his 3rd or 4th
going into year 3.
Going to year 3, it could be one of them things. And I like the fact that it is a new coaching staff, because now I guarantee, I'll say this right now before we get to it, this will be the most spirited camp that you've seen from the Browns in a long time. Because you say what you want under Kevin, or Kevin kind of ratcheted it up a little bit more last year because they had the whole golf outing. I don't know what they was doing out there, but a new coach and something to prove from these folks, I guarantee that the people are going to be ready to go.